Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome to another one of our horror reviews.
Yes, indeed.
This time we are doing the Orphan franchise.
Yeah, we're doing the Orphan double feature so far. They're making a third one.
Oh, are they?
I think so. Or at least I heard rumors, although I don't know if that's confirmed, but I'm pretty sure did confirm it. But, so this is actually the sequel, prequel. We did this one first because technically it takes place before the events of the original film. Sort of like what we did with the Omen movies. This came out just 2 years ago. And it has Julia Stiles and, of course, Isabel Fuhrman, who plays Esther or Lena Clemmer in these movies. Spoilers. Also, do not watch this. If you have not seen either of these movies, watch the review for our second movie first, because it really, Orphan spoils all the spoilers for this movie, because this acts like you know the events of the original movie. So don't watch this one if you haven't seen the original film first. Watch our review on that one first, and then watch our review on this one, if that makes sense. But if you've seen both, then it doesn't matter which way you watch it. But that's our condition, is wait until the second video comes out, because that we can watch them in the order that, it tells you, because this one goes off of the events of the original. So, anyhow, for those of you who've seen the original film, here we go. So, this movie takes place 2 years before the events of the original film in 2009, in 2007, at the hospital where Lena is staying, the Stern Institute in Russia, or in Estonia. So, yeah. And it shows her as a 31-year-old woman who has a condition where she doesn't age, and she has a dwarfism, and just her skin does not age. And she has killed one family before, and now she's stuck at this hospital. And then the story begins. Do you want to get into how it begins from there?
Esther finds missing, or Esther.
Before that, there's a woman that comes to the hospital.
Oh, the woman, the teacher?
Yes, because we need to set up how she escapes and everything.
Oh, yeah, she escapes from the hospital.
She escapes from the hospital. There's this woman that comes in who's supposed to be an art director, and she does not know that she's not a child. She thinks that she's a child at first. Thinks she's a really good artist. Continues forward. Basically, there's this after initial scare, Esther has this connection, or Lena has this connection with one of the security guards, who probably thinks she's a child, which is really creepy. But she knocks him out cold, takes his keys, and then begins to try to leave the hospital. And after setting off one of the other patients to distract security, she goes unnoticed because of throwing everyone off out of the building, and then goes off, kills this other woman who was supposed to be the new art director, and then presumes to go into her house and use her computer to find out about these missing kids, so she can impersonate another child, and finds the child of this missing really rich family, and pretends
Esther.
And that's how she gets her name Esther, because before that she was probably impersonating a different child. But she sticks with Esther for the second movie, which is really the first movie, and then she falls into the movie with Julia Stiles.
Yes, the underrated Julia Stiles.
Overrated, but she's actually still good.
Underrated.
Anyhow, tell us about how this goes from here.
So she disguises herself as this Esther girl, and which is the daughter of Julia Stiles and this other dude.
He went missing.
Yeah, she went missing. But there's a story to that. That we won't find out till later.
Yeah, so she goes and impersonates Esther, and one by one, Esther starts having some weird things that start to happen. But then, as soon as you start to realize, because then as soon as you start to realize she's the escaped killer, but then she realizes the family she's in is actually a family of killers themselves, except for the dad. Both Julia Stiles and her son plotted in. So her son, Julia Stiles' son, killed his sister, and the mom protected him on this. So they covered up to make it look like she's missing, but the dad thinks she's missing. They know that she's dead. And so this whole time, Julia Stiles has been acting like she was surprised to see her daughter again, when really she knew
that she wasn't her daughter.
That she wasn't her daughter. So
that's the twist of this one.
So Esther kind of ends up becoming the good guy in this movie, and you root for her. And kind of, even though she's a villain, but like she's put in this situation where even though she conjured her way into this, she's dealing with almost worse people.
Julia Stiles is badass in this movie.
She's almost as evil, if not more evil than Esther.
Yeah.
I think she's more evil than Esther because she's also like an entitled white woman who thinks that she's like, she talks about how her relatives came off the Mayflower and they mean something and they're really wealthy and they like she conjured her way into stealing so she can anyone would love to be their daughter and anyone would love to be a part of her family, so she should just love it.
Yeah.
And she kind of starts to fall in love with the husband, which if you watch the original film first, you know that she has a thing for John in the original film. And this one she falls in love with Alan, her husband, who teaches her about the art with the fancy lights that flicker and like changes the painting, and that's how she learns that technique that's so signature to her. But once they try to corner her and she doesn't follow their plans, they just decide to finally, instead of trying to protect her and keep her family, they try to kill her. And that's when she faces off with them, fights them basically to the death, and kills the son via a bow and arrow. Bow and arrow, and then she stabs him with the arrow or whatever like several times. Really massacres him, and then she finds him, they fight, and then the dad comes home from his trip that he went on earlier in the movie, and he sees the two of them hang off the balcony, and he still at the time thinks that Esther is really Esther, like he thinks that Lena is actually really his daughter, Esther, and so he accidentally lets his wife slip, and it's almost like a Good Son moment, like if you've seen Macaulay Culkin, The Good Son, it's almost like that. And he has to pick between his wife and his supposed daughter. And he drops Julia Stiles and she falls and cracks her head open. And Esther ends up being saved. And then he finds out that's not really his daughter. He goes crazy. And then she pushes him because she's angry because she talks about how she did for him. She loved him, whatever. He's like complete baffled. And then she pushes him. He falls off and gets killed too. And then she sets a house on fire to disguise everything, and that's the fire they talk about in the original film too, where they're talking about how she set a house on fire, there's arson. This is that house. And also this is the house that she draws in that creepy painting in the original one too. So, a lot of tie-ins. She ends up in an orphanage, and they're like talking about her past and how she survived, and who could ever not want to adopt this little girl. But yeah, I love this movie. I mean, it's campier than the original. It's a little bit like, it's not the same amount of like, wow as the original either, because Isabel Fuhrman is a 26 or 27-year-old, and she was like 25 when she did this movie. So she doesn't like look as much like a kid as she did in the original, but still a really good movie, really good prequel. Pretty good original story considering that it's still trying to continue this story. So, I don't know. You have anything else to add?
No. It's just really good, and I like Julia Stiles in this movie. Yeah. She's pretty badass, and the twist.
And her son, like, her son's also
I didn't
evil.
expect coming.
Yeah, the twist about her being the killer.
Yeah.
And she's, like, just as bad, too. So, really good movie, wild, and now we'll get into the original Orphan, the sequel, original. Whatever. And that's that. Orphan First Killed from 2022. Thanks for watching. Like and follow for more, and see you next time.
Follow for more.
Bye.
Bye.